Come on, buddy, come on.
So they put us through the turnstiles and turned us loose inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, visitors of all ages, the Bazuco Casino Circus proudly presents...
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. Searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. Buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. You're full of dream, can't you see you getting closer? To surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flying open. It's a picture in the pulpit and you're blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brick of every wall that's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you wanna go?
Boom, just like that, we are live. Here, let's see if I can see the top of my head. It's looking pretty rough. That is okay. Hello, everybody. I am sorry for the clickbaity thumbnail. But it's, yeah, you're going to have to tell me how I did, what you think, because I did something, and I did it with there's a friend of mine. We did a trade, and it was a pretty monster trade, so pretty awesome. We're gonna do some unboxing. This is just a quick one. Hey, Mr. Collecto6. I'm gonna do a quick little unboxing here because this stuff is stuff I got for Band of Brothers auction, so should only be a couple of books in here, really. Packaging is nice enough. They did a decent job. Nothing crazy. Who do we got hanging out with us in the chat right now? Let's check it all out before I give you this beautiful comics. All right, we got Entropy and Comics. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. GT Key, good to see you, my friend. Mr. Hudak Comics. Loke, what's good, my man? Good to see you. Great artist, by the way. Cali Comics. Hey, brother, good to see you. And, of course, Susie Q from Portland, Oregon. Mr. Collecto6, my friend. Yeah, just talking about you. So these are books for Band of Brothers auction. Decently packed, easy peasy. Nothing crazy. Perfect. All right, so this is in near mint condition. Actually, probably going to be sending this away to CGC, to be honest. Might not be up on this Band of Brothers. I'm going to check it out. This might be going to CGC. It's a first Doomsday newsstand, so I think I did pretty well there. And this actually could use a press, it looks like. But we've got the first, not first anything, but this Zatanna. But it's a cool Zatanna. I've sold this a couple of times. It's a good book. That I got for Band of Brothers auction. Yeah, what did I do, Mastodon? That is a good question. I got rid of a couple of really, really big books in my collection. That I loved, actually, that I really loved. So, and I did a trade. And, it was, I loved the trade personally.
Here is the very first appearance of Zorro in a comic book. It's Hit Comics, number 55.
Oh, wow, nice. And you got that from where? Big B? No, My Comic Shop? eBay? Oh, Bleecker.
Yes,
That's Bleeker's copy.
it is.
Oh, wow.
And that is a tough book.
I've been trying to find that book. That's a hard book to find.
But this book is tougher.
No, actually, I think the other one's tougher. This is a great book, too. This is his first appearance. But
This was also Bleeker's book, and I worked a trade with him.
oh, wow.
And one of these books just came up that's not as nice as this. $1,200.
Oh, wow.
$1,200.
Yeah. So those are the books that I traded away. And this is going to be the reveal on what I traded those awesome books for. I don't know if you're my age, Zorro probably means quite a bit to you. I watched the cartoon in the late 80s, I think it was, maybe early 90s. I watched all the cartoons, really. And then, of course, the black and white movies. My parents made me watch a ton of black and white movies. And I can't say I'm not grateful for it now. I don't know if I loved it when I was a kid, but now that I've seen all that stuff, I'm pretty grateful. I have a pretty good base knowledge of cinema and history of cinema and stuff like that. This is very well packaged. Extraordinarily well packaged. It's got these awesome little corner things. This is very well packaged. So this came from Steppo. Steppo, you know how to package a book, my friend. All right, we still got some tape, so we still got the knife in hand. That's all right. Yeah, I like the TV shows as well. Very cool. Again, I always wore the cape. I always tried to be Zorro when I was a little kid. You know, you start with your bathing towel. You start with that first, and then you move on to other things, curtains and whatnot. Yeah, that Zorro is no joke. Hey, Mr. Allen, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Fiddle Chips, good to see you. So this is the book that I got from Steppo. I traded the first appearance and the first appearance of Zorro away. And I think this needs a little light for me for a second. Hold on a second. I want to get a good look at it before I show you animals. This is just so beautiful. This is so red. The colors in this are absolutely wow, amazing. Holy shit. Holy friggin' smokes, man. All right. You want the reveal? Are we doing it? Let's put down the lights so it's not crazy. Oh my God. So, yeah. Let me actually, before I show that, let me show you some other comic books. So I'm just going to go grab them real quick. Oh, all right. So as of late, I have been picking up some pretty cool books. It all started with a gift on AOK from Steven from Steppo Collecto 6, if you don't know. He is awesome, and I can't thank him enough for this, personally. So, that was an AOK from Steppo. That is an 8.0 Marvel Spotlight number 5. Little lady. TV. So this started the journey. Like, I have a pretty decent collection, but this became quickly my number one book and my favorite book in my collection by far. So, you know, after that, I decided that I wanted to go down that route, and I picked up an 8.0 Spotlight #2, and this is the first Werewolf by Night, and his origin story as well. Which is great about the Ghost Rider as well. That's also his first and his origin story. You don't have to buy two. Because you know what? If you don't have the first, go for the second. If you don't have the second, go for the origin story. That's what they say. So we got that. So that was awesome. And then recently, I got this. And this is one of my all-time favorite comics and covers. And it's amazing. And oh my God, holy smokes. And it's a great grade. Not easy to find, especially in that grade. So we got an 8.5 Savage Tales #1. And that is the first appearance of Man-Thing. Yeah, sorry about all the reflective light. I apologize about that. I have to figure that out. It might be my TV. I don't know. But that is Savage Tales 1, 8.5, CGC. It's amazing. And one of, I don't know, probably one of the most iconic covers of all time, in my opinion. So, really stoked to have that. And yeah, it's actually really awesome to make Mr. Whitecliff's a little jealous, I'm not gonna lie. And so, that being said, all of those awesome books, I traded away my Zorros, and I got a Tomb of Dracula #1. And ref, there's something on it. This is a 9.2 signed by Neal Adams. And I could not be happier. I honestly, this is amazing. Steppo actually has another, like, he's met Neal Adams. He's got pictures of him and Neal together, and I know the date that this book was signed because Steppo got it signed. And so yeah, I am obviously picking up some Marvel Monsters. That is it, man. That is my Marvel Monster run so far. Of course, this is the first Dracula, first Van Helsing. And it's bloody awesome. Signed, 9.2, super high grade. Like super duper high grade. This is freaking dynamite, man. It's like I'm holding dynamite in my hands, god dang it all. Dynamite! Yeah, brother. Yeah, the Savage Tales, one of my favorites. The grade on that Tomb of Dracula is insane. I know Steppo's more of a Golden Age collector, and I'm sort of collecting, around the 20-cent era, copper monsters. I'll probably be sneaking into some Rosettas as well, some creepies, things of that nature. Weird War. There's just a lot of stuff that I loved when I was a kid. And Dracula especially. In the 90s, I was a little vampire kid, eyeliner and all the rest of it. A lot of plastic pants and fishnets. It was a weird time, but it is what it is. Yeah, the Bronze Age stories are great, and Lady, absolutely, and of course, there's a lot more story. It's just, nowadays, you read a comic book, there's almost no story. What is the book on A? The book on A. That is a 9.8 Spawn 314 Virgin variant, Frank Capullo Virgin variant, signed by Frank Capullo. Of course, these comics are all up for sale, and they'll be on Band of Brothers auction on the 24th of this month with Who Dat and myself. But yeah, I think it was a good trade. I'm really happy. If Steppo wants to come on, Steppo, you're more than welcome. I'll invite you. I'll put the link in the chat. I don't plan on staying on too long, but if you want to come on and seal this deal, we can talk about it a little bit. How you're feeling about it, how I'm feeling about it. Links in the chat. Of course, if anybody else wants to join, you're more than welcome. You got to show your face, of course. I don't want nothing weird's going on around here. Let's be cool. Yeah, I'm super stoked with the trade. Let's watch Steppo one more time, because of course this is what I gave away, and I really hope that Steppo loves it, because I loved it. The Zorros were really, they're hard books to find. Really hard books to find. So
here is the very first appearance of Zorro in a comic book. It's Hit Comics, number 55.
Oh, wow, nice. And you got that from where? Big B? No, My Comic Shop? eBay? Oh, Bleecker.
Yes.
That's Bleecker's copy.
It is.
Oh, wow.
And that is a tough book.
I've been trying to find that book. That's a hard book to find.
But this book is tougher.
No, actually, I think the other one's tougher. This is a great book, too. This is his first appearance. But
this was also Bleecker's book, and I worked a trade with him.
Oh, wow.
And one of these books just came up that's not as nice as this. $1,200.
Oh, wow.
$1,200.
yeah, man. So I don't know. I think the trade was wicked. I'm really stoked. I've got 4 awesome big time monster books in my collection. As of late, I'm sort of starting fresh. I'm selling a lot of my stuff and just starting on things that I truly, truly want and love. And these are some of them. I've got a lot of the Werewolf by Night run, and I've got a good chunk of the early Ghost Rider run. There's going to be some other things that I'm going to be looking for now as well, but these books are freaking amazing. And the grades, that was Steven's fault, to be honest. And you know what? We should let him actually explain himself.
Hey, everybody! An old man's talking.
Grandpa's the name. Did you know this tree dates back to frontier times?
Wow.
Shut up!
Shut up!
Hello. How are you, sir?
I am very happy indeed. I'm glad it survived the trip to Canada. And Alan and I had a lot of fun on our Monday special. And hello, Alan, and hello, chat. Hello, Sue, everybody. Thanks for coming over. And when Bleak put that ad, he says, "Have I ruined my collection?" And I instantly DM'd him. I said, "Wrecked your collection? What is this?" He goes, Steppo, clickbait. Have you ever heard of it? Clickbait?
It's just
And I said, okay, I didn't know that.
we're just experimenting with clickbait. You know, everybody uses it. I'm just doing a little experiment.
No, I am very, very happy. I am thrilled to have these. Let
me make you big for a second so you can show up those awesome Zorros.
I showed them before, but when Bleak got this, he was saying, "Oh, and I'm this and that, and that's it." And what he had done is he had done his. Now this was to slab or not to slab, or which I can't remember.
Yes,
which show.
Yes, I was slab or not to slab.
And he was going on about this, and he already had this in hand. That is to say, he had already secured this because he had scoured the internet and the ether webs and everything else to find this. And it's not an easy book at all to find. And I know that because I know one of the best sleuths in the entire comic community. And his name rhymes with the comic collector geek. and as Bleecker was doing this, because we tease Alan, because truly FOMO, Alan is loaded with it. And I think the only other person that's got as much FOMO in him as him is me. It becomes sort of a symbiotic relationship. You know, he is the shark and I'm the snail darter, or I mean, whatever, the remora. And then I'm the shark and he's the remora. And so it's a very carnivorous situation. But Bleak knew that when he was talking about this, there was going to be a reaction, because Alan already has this one, and he says it's the first appearance of Zorro. However, it is not. It's the first Zorro, masked Zorro on the cover, and the traditional Zorro. But in the hit comic, what it is, and so I said, as he was showing this, and I can see the guy up in the corner, it looks like he's got a skip rope, but it's not, it's a whip. And I said, oh my gosh, is that Zorro? And of course, the answer is yes, it is Zorro. And so Kid Eternity, evidently, and he has this genie guy, and he'll go back in time or whatever it is, and he'll get heroes to help him fight situations, or in this particular instance, what happened. So he goes back in time to Los Angeles, and he talks to, he goes and he meets Don Diego Vega, and he knows his Zorro, and he says, you got to help me, I've got a problem. He says, I will help you. And so he comes out and he pulls out the whip, and he's whipping these guys, and he's being Zorro. He says, Zorro. And it was just, and there was no doubt, there was no equivocation. It was Zorro. And so as he was showing this, but of course, then for Alan, then that started him going. And so then when I was talking with Bleecker about various books and stuff, and I said, I've been looking at those Zorros, because I've been looking ever since I saw Alan's. Because I told my story on Alan's show about in 1959, I got my Zorro costume and with my sword, black plastic sword with a Z, the white chalk, and I got Z's all over the house. And my dad comes home and he, Carol, what are all these white Z's everywhere? But Zorro has always been, Guy Williams especially. And matter of fact, Tyrone Power, and I talked about this too, Tyrone Power in The Mark of Zorro, with Basil Rathbone and Linda Darnell. It's a great cast. Gail Sondergaard, and Eugene Pillay, who was Friar Tuck, he's in it too. And so you have all of this stuff and going on. And Basil Rathbone was the greatest swordsman in Hollywood, truly, honestly, for reals. And Tyrone Power, his mother was a championship fencer herself, and she taught Tyrone Power how to fence. And Tyrone Power was a good fencer, very good. But Basil Rathbone was number one. But the sword fight in that movie, Mark of Zorro, in 1940, the sword fight in that movie is so good. Now, Scaramouche with Stuart Granger is longer. That's a great with Mel Ferrer. And they are all over it. It's a great sword fight. But for technical, and there's a lot of swash and buckle with Stuart Granger as Scaramouche. But Basil Rathbone and Ty Power, the technical skills that they show as they are doing this fight is really something else. So you must watch that. So anyway, and of course, Guy Williams was a good swordsman too, and they both used real blades. They didn't use rubber blades in the Disney show. And when he was fighting the Alcalde one time, he says, he was talking, Guy Williams died in Brazil or whatever, when he finally passed. But they were doing a sword fight, and the Alcalde got too close, and they had rehearsed it, but he got too close, and Guy Williams with the tip of his blade just cut right past his eye, and missed, blinding him in an eye. And he instantly, he dropped his sword and he runs up and, oh God, Frank, are you all right? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And because it looked real, because it was pretty damn real. And so I watched that Zorro show in '59. I watched every episode, and the Mickey Mouse Club and all that other stuff, because at that time I was 6. And so Zorro has always been, for me, a huge, huge thing. It's too late. So when I saw this, and I really have always liked Zorro, and I like the newer version. There was a newer version. It's Zorro is right there in the yellow. That is Zorro right there with the whip. And in the story, he comes out and he has he looks just like that, and he has the whip, and he is Zorro. I am Zorro, because Kid Eternity knew who he was, that he could go with the genie taking him back in time or whatever.
He is named in the book. The name doesn't.
Oh no, it's straight up. It's Zorro. It's Don Diego Vega, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
The black mask and cape routine for Zorro started with Douglas Fairbanks Sr. And in his prime, he did Zorro movies, and it was the same thing where he acts like the fop. And that all comes from the Scarlet Pimpernel, too, because he did Blakely, whatever his name is, in the movie with the Scarlet Pimpernel with Leslie Howard. He acts like the fop. Oh, those Frenchies, seek him here, they sink him there. Those Frenchies seek him
I've actually
everywhere.
watched that movie.
It's a good one. So, but acting the fop and then being the stud.
Yeah.
The same thing with Zorro, and Clark Kent and Superman.
Well, I always liked the Scarlet Pimpernel. Like I remember the scene where he had like the big nose, and like he always took off the face, like he had costumes and things.
It's the terrible plague. Move on. Get through the gate.
It was great. It was really great, actually. I loved it.
Oh, if you haven't, there are a couple others. The David Niven one isn't as good, but there's this one with Mark Richards and Jane Seymour, Mark something or another, and Jane Seymour. Very, very good one. But Raymond Massey as the bad guy in the Scarlet Pimpernel was wonderful. He was absolutely evil. So anyway, all of the machinations, and then when Bleecker found this book, when he found this one, he showed it to me, and I was struck by the color strike on this one, because the ones that you see are hammered, and the colors are very faded. This is full color.
The colors are great on that,
and I'm all about the colors on a comic. I mean, Alan will tell you. I mean, it's just that the cover, it may not be like a 9, a super high grade, but if it's a 6.0, I had for example, I have a Brenda Star 14 that was a 7.0. It was a little bit more than a 6.5, but the 6.5 had infinitely better cover colors. So I took the 6.5 because it's a better looking book. This is a better looking book. This is actually the nicest copy I've ever seen.
Even the back, even the back cover, as you know, that all those 4 colors, they have a really nice back cover as well.
Yeah. So with that in mind, and then of course, then getting the comic history hit here, on the tomb, I told the story in my posts on Instagram, and I also told the story on one of the Monday specials, I believe, where I got asked to go out to I Like Comics in Vancouver, Washington, and Neil was there, and I was asked to be a witness for CGC. And so I went out and I brought all the books I had, that were the nicest Neil Adams books I had. I bought I bought 2 Tomb of Draculas back in about 1991, and there was a warehouse find. And there were about 7 or 8 books the guy got out of this book. And it wasn't terribly expensive. It was not cheap at the time. But I got to go through, and I picked 2 that, frankly, I think as a matter of fact, I know they're identical. Because the thing about when you have a warehouse find and you can look at a few copies together, like the Class of '68 books, each one, when they print the book, there are vagaries about an individual book when it is printed. So like if the top left corner, you look, always seems to be a problem in the top left corner. So if you're looking at multiples, then the first place you look is to see if it has that. If it doesn't have that, then you pull it out, and then it makes the first cut. All the rest of the book being equal and beautiful. Beautiful book, even just the same, but just to see that little vagary that you see. And so these two were identical, and I think at the time, I think they were not cheap books to buy. They were not, because they were so nice. And so I've had them for all this time. And so when Neil came out, I said, oh, here's my chance. I'm going to take him out. And so the nice thing about when I was with him and had a chance, and you can watch the other show and hear the whole story. I'm not going to repeat it. But the thing was that when we were signing the book, when he was signing the books and I was being the witness, what he would do when it was my turn to do it, because I was pretty much near the end. I didn't do it at the beginning. I did. Everybody else was done. And I said, could I have you sign? He said, oh, sure. And so what he would do is he would look at the covers. He says, okay, now, where would you like me to sign this? And then I said, well, I'm not entirely sure. And he says, well, I'll tell you what. He said, usually where I'll sign this book, because I like signing it, is on this Tomb 1, for example, down in the lower left-hand corner, there's the river and there's the water and all this stuff flowing around. And I like to put my signature in there because you can see it's my signature, but it doesn't detract from the art. It doesn't pull away from the actual image of the cover. Mm-hmm. But it's a legible, good signature. And he says, would you like that? I said, and I'm thinking, okay, the guy who created this, who is talking with me and being nice about it, and then he's asking me where the best place would be to sign the thing. I'm going, oh, Neil, where you think is best is best. And he says, no, I don't like to use silver ink, and I don't like to use gold ink on this because I do like to have it kind of blend in with it. He says, so I like to use black. I said, black, go, go. And so all the way through on all of the books that I had signed, and I have 2 movies or reels up on my Instagram where I have 2 reels where I show all the books that he signed. And I believe it says January 22nd, 2014.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the image at all. Like,
no, and that's a white, and both of those books are white pagers. They're both white page copies as well. Now I haven't told this part ever, but so I will tell it now because this is an occasion. He was supposed to go from I Like Comics in Vancouver, Washington, over to Excalibur Books in Portland, and they didn't have any way to get there. And they said, well, we'll have to call a cab. And I said, oh no, look, I'll drive you. And so they basically piled into my car, and then I got to drive all the way from Vancouver all the way back into Portland up to Excalibur Books. And the whole time we're there, we're all talking and laughing and what have you in my car. So I got to sit in the car, all of us together talking and having a nice drive over to this other place. And he went a little bit long at I Like Comics because there were quite a few people there that were there to have books signed. He was so nice the whole way. And the picture of me is ghastly. I'm about 125 pounds heavier than I am now. But nevertheless, but it's me. And we just had a great time. We really clicked. Our personalities really clicked. It was really something. I'll never forget it. So as we're pulling up to Excalibur, people are lined up out of the store. And there were 3 pieces of art. The best piece of art, which is the Batman. The second best one in my mind was the Talia. And then he had a Harley Quinn. Those were those 3. And then I think he had 1 or 2 others, and they were not as monumental as these 3. So the best pieces I got because I had a chance to buy them right from the maestro's hands. I got to buy them right from Neil's hands. He says, would you like this? And I took it right from his hands. Yes, sir. And not cheap, but I could not be happier to have those now. And so I took all the books anyway. So they didn't really have much stuff to choose from. I'm sorry for them, but I'm not sorry for them. I'm happy for me. And all these people are waiting, and they're shifting from foot to foot. They got their books in their hands. And then Neil comes out and he's laughing, and Marilyn, his wife, is laughing. Ah, it's wonderful, wonderful. They're all going, well, thanks a lot. We've just been standing in line forever. Blah, 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 all this. They didn't say that, but that was it. And I said, well, have a lot of fun, everybody. And then I hopped in my car and I shook Neil's hand again, and I thanked Marilyn, and then they went on, and that was that. So
Steffo went on his merry way with his lute.
And so then the books were I went back to I Like Comics, and then all of the books then that had been signed by Neil that day were accumulated into a big order. And then I had to sign several forms to indicate that I had witnessed the signatures of every one of those books. I had to sign my name and do all that other stuff. And that's how that whole thing went down. And it was, I was flattered, and they were saying, says, well, how did you get to, and that's another benefit of being an advisor to the Overstreet Price Guide. He says, what I wanted, I had a Overstreet Price Guide be the witness to the CGC signing with Neil Adams. And so that actually worked. That worked like I have some sort of rank or something or another. All it means is I write articles once a year to put in the guide. But it is an honor, and I do like that. But Bleecker, I want to say so much. I want to say thank you so very much for a wonderful trade, and I'm so happy you like the book. I really am.
I love it, and I'm really happy you like your books. I'm glad we could have a really amicable trade. It was awesome. Yeah, it was really cool. And the Witchblade, I was asking if you had 175, Stephen.
And what is the significance of this one?
It's a Turner, I just don't know if you have it, because I
put it in my box.
Well, I was going to put it as a freebie in your box. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's going to be just given to you because it's cool as heck, and I know you like Mr. Turner. So
I do like Michael Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, if you come on church and Mr. Bleak is here, then you have books to buy behind him. But on top, what's even better is when he is at his shop, and he is basically there, and the public, he's right at his comic store at the antique mall. Is if you want to go shopping and have Bleecker be your personal shopper, you can ask for what you want, and if he has it, he'll show you, work a price with you, and then he can send them to you. And you don't even have to get out of your chair. You don't have to. All you have to do is just type on your phone.
100.
That's the best way to go to a convention, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you just have to hang out in your office in your PJs and just grab some books. It's very cool.
Who needs PJs?
Well, Steffo, thank you very much. You have honestly been an absolute blessing in my life, and it's really, really awesome.
It's mutual.
Yeah, man. That's it. Yeah, we did the awesome trade. Tomb of Dracula, Zorro's. They came together, and now they've got some new homes.
Bask in the glow, my friend. I am
absolutely basking. I have 4 of the top monster books in some of the highest grades of all time, and I can't be more proud, to be honest.
Well, I'm sorry I put you on that path, but I'm not sorry, because I think that down the road, those are things that could be a thing of beauty and a joy forever.
100%, and it's stuff that I've loved ever since I was a kid anyway. So it's nice to, you just sort of one day collecting. You go through different phases of collecting. I'm sure everybody knows this already. I don't have a young audience, so. If everybody goes through, oh my God, FOMO, they buy everything, and then they start buying all the stuff they loved when they were children, and then you sort of grow from there. And this is sort of a growth moment for me, and I can't say thank you enough. So very happy. I put it back in the sleeve because.
No, leave it in the sleeve because the case, to be honest, those books were slabbed, and I put them in Mylar. I put them in a box, and they have sat basically untouched until I just got them out here recently. I just don't. I'll look at them. I have pictures of them, but I don't like to rustle around in the books. When it's occasion to bring them out to show, I'm very, very careful. You never want to scratch them. You don't want to drop them. You don't want to do that. And I'm not as bad as Mr. White Gloves. I don't wear white gloves. to handle them. But I tell you that they're hard enough to get, and they're not that. This kind of stuff is really very hard to replace, if at all. So you have to be so very careful. So I just have left them alone. So that's why the case that the case you're in, you're good.
Thank you, Fiddle Tips. Yeah, Bleecker Street Comics. I don't know, man. I'm very happy with this. Honestly, it's wicked. I don't know what to say, to be honest. I was going to say something, but I can't remember now.
That's all right. It wasn't true. You were going to say, Stepple, you're a great guy. It isn't true.
Oh, it is true. It's very true. Don't forget to watch Steppo and Alan on Mondays. They have an awesome show.
Thank you.
They do, all that Golden Age stuff. And today, actually, Steppo threw out a lot of modern, a lot of Witchblade, which is really cool to see.
Yeah,
So,
the thing is, good art is good art. And Michael Turner is very, very good. He it seems like so many of the best artists, Matt Baker, Darwin Cook, Dave Stevens, and then Turner, all of them die young. And it's really weird. And they're gifted, totally gifted people. And so it's sort of it's very bittersweet, but to understand and appreciate the guys for their craft in the time in which they did it. And Turner did a lot of very nice. He did, when he knew his number was up, he did produced until he couldn't anymore, so that he could support his family. And I admire the hell out of that.
Oh yeah, I do as well, to be honest. I know when what's his name was passing away, he was at a lot of cons and he was trying to do as much as he could for his family before he passed. His name slips my mind at the moment because I'm late and I smoke marijuana. Sorry, people. Just the way it is.
Was it George Perez?
Yes, that's it, George. I was like, Perez. There it is, George Perez.
I thought that's where you were going. I was waiting to let you finish it, but
it slipped away.
My stupor. My stupor will be the thought just sort of drifted across, well, listen, I thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure. And again, Bleecker, if we can do another trade sometime, if something comes into your hands, and then I do have a few things here that I might be induced to be induced.
All right, that sounds pretty awesome, Steppo, and we will keep our eyes open.
All right, buddy.
Our eyes open. Cheers, everybody. Thanks very much for hanging out with us. That was the big trade. It was an awesome trade. I'm happy. Steppo's happy. We're all happy. You're happy. Let's get out of here.
No!
Oh yeah, and don't forget, Band of Brothers auction, August 24th.
I'll be there.
12th. K-pop. I'm not sure if Boston will be there, but Boston's usually there. Biggie, the whole crowd. Ed Cali Comics will be there. Everybody.
Oh no!
I know, that's the one. But we let it happen.
Think big, think positive, never show any sign of weakness, always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem. Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Right. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. Right. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners.
You son of a bitch.